Welcome to Failure to Stop's Friday Breakdown, coming to you live from Western North Carolina. There's a lot of people in the live chats. Abby Ellsworth, Army Unite, Folk Around, Find Out, Will Cray, the list goes on. We'll address the chats later. Thank you guys for being here. To get things started today, I just want you to imagine for a moment if you are a first responder. Maybe you're a nurse, maybe you're a cop, firefighter, Lord forbid, a state trooper. I only joke. But imagine for a moment you wake up in the morning and you try to hit the snooze button and maybe your phone falls off of the dresser and it makes a loud noise and now you're forced to get up because you didn't actually hit snooze. You just knocked the phone off. And so you get this phone put together and you walk out into the kitchen to start your coffee only to find that the coffee grounds are still in the filter from the day prior. And now you have to remove them and throw them away to get a fresh filter. And you go to throw away this wet filter only to find that your trash can doesn't have a bag in it. And now you're extremely frustrated. You go underneath this sink and there is an empty box where there once was trash bags, but there aren't any more trash bags. And now you're really frustrated. And so you settle for an old grocery bag that you put the grounds and the filter in. And you start fresh and you get your coffee. And then maybe you go to drive to work and you realize that you didn't put gas in your car the night before. Now you have to go and get gas on your way to work and you weren't really planning on it. Anyway, your day is absolute garbage. And you show up to work and maybe somebody talks a little crap to you. Maybe somebody starts playing little games or whatever. And now your day is just even worse. It happens to everybody. How many bad days a week do you have? And I want you to ask yourself this honestly. You don't have to put it in the chats or the comments or say it out loud, but do you have one bad day a week? Do you have two? Do you have one a month, three a month? Four? How many bad days do you have? And now let me ask you this. When you have a bad day, what do you do to correct your bad day and start over? Because if you're a first responder and you're having a bad day and you show up to a house and you're already frustrated, reasonably so, and then this person just annoys you in the right way or in the wrong way, and you overreact with some snide comment because you are commenting based on how you feel in the moment because your day sucks, and she or he has spouted off to you in a way that annoys you. And so you chime in back, you chirp back. This person happens to be mentally ill. You have a tit for tat and you will let your emotions get the best of you because that's what we often do when we have bad days. We all know that if you have a bad day and your wife, maybe you've said something to your wife that you didn't necessarily mean. Maybe you said something to your kids. Maybe you spanked your child out of anger. You allowed, your bad day coupled with this bad behavior to just erupt and you lashed out at your kid. We've all had these days. We've all had them. Every single person, nobody's immune to this unless you're a sociopath of some kind. And this person rubs you the wrong way and you overreact, but instead of backing off and starting fresh and starting clean, you pull your gun out and you shoot them and you kill them. It's exactly what we saw with the Sonia Massey case. I don't know if this officer was having a bad day in the Sonia Massey case or not. And we're actually not talking about the Sonia Massey case today, but the family of Sonia Massey was just awarded $10 million. The sheriff was forced to resign, and the officer that was involved in this shooting is now facing 10 to 20 years or more for the murder. He charged with murder and arrested for the murder of Sonia Massey. And if we go back to the Sonia Massey breakdown that we did on this, I don't know what set him off to behave the way he did, but what if for yourself, maybe you're not a bad cop like this guy. And I say this, I say that this guy was a bad cop, not to be judgmental, but Sean Grayson, that was the officer's name. This guy was removed for making bad decisions in the military with an other than honorable discharge from the military in 2016. This guy was also removed from another Illinois police department because he, quote, had problems making decisions and stressful, high stress decision. He failed to obey a command while working for a sheriff's office in Illinois and was told that he needed quote unquote high stress decision making classes. I've never heard that. I've never heard somebody. Now, I've punched people in the face too many times. I was fine with punching them in the face, and they said that I needed to go back to combatives techniques because I needed to try something other than just punching people in the face. And I did. I had to go back to a whole weeks of combatives, grappling and use of pepper spray and use of tools. Because I was relying on my fist too much. And this all came because there was a man trying to get a gun out of his waistband. And instead of backing off and maybe, I don't know, shooting this guy, I decided to hit him in the face as many times as I possibly could, putting myself at risk in those others because I relied on my fists before I learned on the tools that I needed to do. I gambled with my life and others' lives. So I've heard of people having to be retrained, but I've never heard of somebody having to go do a high stress class like this guy, Sean Grayson. He also had a couple of DUIs, which I think is what inevitably got him removed from the military. But this guy has a history of poor life decisions, and somehow, some way, he's able to become a police officer. And I don't know if he was having a bad day. I don't know. Maybe he just perpetually has bad days. He might be an alcoholic. It looks, at least that's what it appears to be. But it doesn't matter that this guy, he showed up and he killed Sonia Massey, and so many lives are forever changed by this. And it only makes me think not to judge this guy in a negative light and not to play judge and jury. And so people reached out on social media and said that, my comments on this case are part of the problem, that I'm bringing light to the Sonia Massey case and it only hurts police and law enforcement. But you know what gives me anxiety about the Sonia Massey case is that this could be you. We've all had extremely bad. Now, it would take an extremely bad day for me to make the mistake of killing Sonia Massey when we know that the only reason that this cop Grayson killed Sonia Massey was because he was highly annoyed. He had every opportunity to do right here. He did not need to approach this woman. He's the one that told her to go get the boiling water. He's the one that talked shit to her while she was reading the Bible. She's rebuking Satan and he's being snide back. He is the one that is escalating all of this. And then when this frail old woman that's suffering from dementia tries to pick up a pot of boiling water, he approaches her and puts himself into a position where he needs to shoot and kill this old lady who, even if she had all the strength of a normal 35-year-old woman and she tried to launch boiling water at this cop, if he was making his way back, if he had an exit plan, there's no way this water would have affected him in any way, yet he chose to shoot and kill her. And the reason why I bring the Sonia Massey case up, because I want you to know, if you're a supervisor, if I'm a supervisor, if I'm talking to law enforcement officer, I'm talking to nurses, I'm talking to firefighters, or just anybody that has a bad day, what is your plan for when you have a bad day? You have to have a clean slate when you put your uniform on. I don't know if it's you pray. That's what I did. I would say I would ask God, because I'm a believer in God, I'm a believer in Christ. I'll say it on the show. I don't care. I'm not afraid of that. You can believe in whatever you want. But the way I would work through things, I say, dear God, one, help me to answer the call today. Whether the call be changing a flat tire, maybe the call is just spending an extra 10 minutes with a crazy lady in her Bible and just celebrating her craziness for a minute to calm her down and to make way. Somebody who's scared of ghosts or having some kind of schizophrenia, whatever the call is, Lord God, help me to answer it today, right now, no matter what happened at home or what's going on in my life or finances or medical stuff or children's stuff or wives, whatever it is. When I shut this locker door, because that's kind of how I would pray. I would open up my locker door and just kind of put my head in my locker real quick so nobody would really see me. I didn't want to be dramatic about it. But when I shut that door, and that sound of my locker door, that is what said, I'm here now. I'm at work now. Nothing else matters. I'm here now. Maybe it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu that gets you in that right time. Maybe it's lifting weights. Maybe it's a couple of I don't know what it is, but do you have a plan so that when you show up to a Sonia Massey case, or a case like we're going to cover today, where this officer shows up for a minor traffic violation, this scenario that we're going to play out today really happened. And if this cop was having a bad day, as I just explained to you, this could be the cop's worst day instead of this deranged father. But it's important. It is important, guys, to have a plan on how to correct a bad day and not let it fester. I don't know if you've been to anger management or anything like that, but punching a wall is not the right answer. Yelling and screaming is often not the right answer, but sometimes when that rage gets inside of you, it has to come out. It has to come out somehow. What is your plan? If you don't have a plan, you're going to have a lot of holes in your wall, probably have a broken hand. Your kids are going to resent you because you scream at them, or maybe your wife resents you because you said something you were. What is your plan when you're having a bad day? And how do you allow it to not affect your time as a nurse or firefighter or a cop? And I want you to think about that, because in this case, again, things could have went absolutely the wrong way. Also, this case is a great example, and some of the cases that we've seen are a great example of why recruiting is one of the most important jobs in law enforcement and military and every day-to-day business. Who you recruit, who you hire, makes a real big difference on how your day-to-day operations work, because only one toxic, one bad seed can ruin the whole garden. One bad plan can screw it up for everybody else. In the Sonia Massey case, the sheriff lost his job. A whole entire department lost trust. The city loses $10 million. You now have Ben Crump gloating around. You've got this police officer who is going to go to bang you in the ass prison for the next 15 years or so. It all comes back to hiring. There's a case I'm breaking down next week right here on Failure to Stop. Hope you guys tune in next week. But it are these St. Louis officers who obviously should not have ever been cops, just like Sean Grayson should never have been a police officer. If you have more than one DUI, if you have an other than honorable discharge from the military, you don't get to be a cop. Because a cop you have to know 100% that this cop is going to make. If you made bad decisions in the past, I'm sorry, we don't get to give you a second chance. That's not how it works in police and law enforcement. We cannot take that gamble. Oh, well, Eric, everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. But no, not everybody does. I'm sorry. I didn't have any mistakes, any life-altering mistakes prior to becoming a cop. Matter of fact, there were times where a bar fight looked like the right answer, but I knew one day I wanted to be a firefighter. I didn't know I wanted to be a cop, but I knew that maybe being a firefighter was going to be on the list of things I want to do when I got out of the military. And I knew that my chances of being a firefighter were going to be slim to none if I had misdemeanors under my belt or felonies. And so I literally did not fight lots of people. And I have a big mouth, guys. I have a big mouth. And I still to this day, I don't make those life-altering decisions. I didn't smoke pot with my friends in school because I knew I wanted to maybe become a firefighter. Didn't know I was going to join the military. But you know, all those things, people make good decisions throughout their lifetimes. And those are the people that get to be cops. Being a cop is a noble profession. And I know it's not fair and it sucks, but the reason why is because we have cops like these St. Louis guys who obviously have made poor life decisions going forward. They show up to a man who has been shot and they say on their body camera, we get off in 30 minutes. Let's just leave. This man was still alive. He ends up subsequently, I'm not going to give it away, but maybe he dies under this tree and maybe he doesn't. But these cops, they just fucking leave. On our Instagram a little while back, this cop gets in a car chase. The guy wrecks. The cop's like, I'm leaving. Another poor life decision. We have all of these cops in Tennessee who beat this guy to death. Most of these cops had misdemeanors prior to being cops, and they weren't cops less than 5 years. I'm not saying it's DEI. What I'm saying is you can only hire the best of the best for this police profession, or you are going to have Sean Graysons. You're going to have these St. Louis police videos. You're going to have the videos where the cops give a turd sandwich to a homeless guy, and we allow the culture to be poisoned by real toxic folks, or we get the blue-haired woman who doesn't even search men well, doesn't do things right because she's a lesbian and cares more about her sexuality and her statement to feminism than she does police work. We know the consequences of that. Or you have the cop who's on steroids, doing all of the things, rage quitting. Recruiting has to be on point in these police departments. so that we stop having problems like the Sonya Massey case. The reason why I bring Sonya Massey up is because, again, she was just awarded $10 million. Police officer was arrested for murder. He's now standing trial for murder, and as well, the sheriff has resigned since then. And it was the arguments that I saw online that led me to this rant this morning, and I apologize, but a lot of cops, you don't get it. You're still trying to defend Sonya Massey here, saying that putting out that the cop did bad and that the cop has a duty to de-escalate is the part of the problem why the civilian review boards are the way they are. I don't believe in civilian review boards at all. But it's also not black and white. How can you say as a police officer that you do not have a duty to do it, to de-escalate? You might not have a duty to de-escalate all things. There's a time to de-escalate and there's a time to get to work. I 100% agree with you. And not everything is de-escalatable. But when you have an opportunity to de-escalate something, do you not have the duty to de-escalate it? And if you don't, if you're going to say, I don't have a duty to de-escalate this situation, are you able to articulate it? Maybe it's a gang member and you know that he's playing a manipulative game and that if you de-escalate it, you're only playing into that game and he's retarding your investigation. Fine. You had the duty to de-escalate. However, you could not de-escalate this situation given the circumstances, and you can articulate those. But how do you articulate a duty not to try to empathize or to at least show some kind of compassion to an obviously crazy woman who literally called you there to be in the first place because they were scared of something? You don't feel that you have the duty to de-escalate that, to preserve that life? If the answer is no, I don't have that duty. I don't want you to be a police officer. I would hate for you to have to show up if my mother suffers from dementia, if you're going to be that guy that's going to show up and you feel you don't have a duty to at least try to save my mother's life in her worst moment, her worst day. But I'm supposed to have empathy for you, officer, on your worst day. But you're not, at least you don't believe that there's a duty for you to try. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think about this in the chats. It really alarmed me how many officers feel that they don't have a duty to try to de-escalate. Reasonably. Let's say that, reasonably. Today's show is brought to you by ghostbed.com. I always say mental health starts with a good night's sleep. This is why it's so important. This is why Ghost Bed has always been so important to me for the 4 or 5 years that I've been with them. Good night's sleep is the king when it comes to mental wellness. If you cannot get a good night's sleep, you can't get a hold of your mental wellness. Part of that is, are you sleeping on the right bed? Are you sleeping on a bed that's like, are you investing? If mental health is the most important thing, which I think society has come to the conclusion that it's absolutely the most important thing, then should you not spend your money wisely on the one thing that's most important to your mental health, which is a good night's sleep? It is an investment. Buying a Ghost Bed is an investment. You're investing in your own mental health, your own mental wellness. Head over to ghostbed.com, and I say that seriously. Beds made in the good old USA. I love Ghost Bed. I can't sleep without them. Matter of fact, my wife and I are sleeping in this beautiful cabin here in Western North Carolina for her birthday. The first thing she says is, it's like, wow, this place is perfect. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But it is so hard to sleep anywhere but not on my Ghost Bed. So, I mean, they're huge. It's a game changer. Also, we have factormeals.com/Wolfpack50. You got to get that diet under control. Last thing you want to be worrying about is being a fat ass. If you're in shape, if you're in good shape, if you're confident in yourself, then you can be confident in front of the public. If you can take care of yourself and you've proven that you can take care of yourself, then there is a high probability you're going to be able to take care of those around you. Taking care of yourself is paramount to taking care of those around you. You have to take care of yourself. And so with that becomes either going to the gym or dieting. Either way, Factor Meals can help you out with that. It doesn't take a lot of time to go on to factor75.com, pick out from their various many chef prepared, fresh and over frozen meal options and have them delivered right to your front door every single week. Calorie conscious, protein heavy, whatever it is that you're trying to do to get right, they can help you. Summer's right around the corner. You want to get that body looking good? Start now. Head over to factormeals.com. Use the promo code Wolfpack50 for 50% off your first order. And start meal planning today. Super important. Good food, good sleep. You're probably going to be a halfway decent first responder. All right, here we go. Let's jump into today's case. Let me bring up Deadleg. Josh from Deadleg Media. Now, this case comes close to you because you served in Ohio in law enforcement. Were you in Columbus?
I worked for Columbus, or worked for Ohio State University, and I was
which is in Columbus.
Officer. Yeah. So we worked hand in hand with Columbus Police. I worked
was some of the areas you were a Hawaiian cop?
Yeah, that was after, because a lot of areas that we worked, we had overlap with the Columbus Police. So a lot of areas were on university property, and some of the sororities and frats were on the other side of High Street, and we would go out and interact with Columbus Police on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Ohio is a crap hole. I was just there rolling with Mike, the cop, at a Rudo Jiu-Jitsu. I had a great time. I love to give him a hard time. I don't know. Why is Ohio brown? Why does every building need to be painted brown? Why do all the houses have to have brown trim, brown roofs? It's 50 shades of brown in at least Toledo, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio. I love the people of Ohio, but I don't know how you live there. I don't know how you live in the lower rivers of Michigan either. It's easy to make bad decisions, I guess, when you live in places like that. I don't see the appeal. Just get out. It's ugly. It's cold. And it's super boring. Like, what do we do? What are you doing? Like, that there's like a whole East coastline. There's mountain ranges. There's like places with lakes and like really cool stuff. It's not like just industrial shithole cities. I don't know. I'm pissing off all the Ohio people that are like, ugh. I just roll it. Hey, listen, it's okay because all the Ohio State troopers beat my ass last week or this week while I was in Michigan. I'm sorry, while I was in Toledo, Ohio. There was a lot of fans that showed up, and a few of them were state troopers, and they got me, Josh. They got me. They fucked me up. So I had paid the price of making fun of state troopers. My slate was wiped clean, so now I'm starting over. And I'll talk shit about state troopers in Ohio and Michigan until I go there again in a few weeks over to the Foss Studios, and then you guys can kick my ass again. But this case does come out of Columbus, Ohio. I guess do you want me to give the backstory on this case, or you want me to just go ahead and jump right into? You want me to just go ahead and jump right into the case itself, the camera footage and everything?
We could start with the Facebook post that kicks all this off.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead. So, explain me this Big Bird of Cookie Monster, the Facebook post. I think this is hilarious.
Yep. So it's never happened before. We've never once before, ever in the history of this channel, we've never covered a case where there's been a cell phone clip that's come out, and then 2 or 3 days later, when the entire body camera comes out, the totality of the situation, you put things into context, the story changes. Never happened before. If this happens today, it'll be the first time in the history of the show. But pulled over on the side of the road to our house to bring our baby in before parking the car still running, hazards on. This Uncle Tom Ridley wants to use excessive force and threw my husband and baby around for a damn parking violation. You will be reported, you effing sellout. Columbus Police at their finest. Don't believe the hype when they said they only go after criminals. They are criminals.
Now, by the way, her name was what? Demoness?
Yeah, Demoness
Beckford. She's a white, pure like 100% white. Like she ain't mixed at all. She's got cornrows, and her name is Demoness. Gonna go ahead and say maybe not her government name, Demoness Beckford. Maybe is that just a social media handle name?
I don't
Demoness
know.
sounds like something you would have on OnlyFans if you were like some kind of goth bitch. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
That's a bad nickname.
You think Demoness is her real name?
No, that's a bad nickname that you give your friend that you don't like.
Yeah. If you name your, like, you are fucked. If your name is Demoness and your mom gave you that, I mean, even if you take it as a nickname, you're still fucked. Yeah, you're not going to be very successful in life with a name like Demoness. But anyway, somebody says she's definitely liberal. I'm not going to go there. I don't know if she's, she's probably just not political. Honestly, with cornrows like that and a name like Demoness, she's probably just a hood, just probably a hood hoe. Honestly, if I had to guess, I would guess hood hoe. We all know what a hood hoe is, right? Been there, seen that. So hood hoe here, demoness. Somebody in the chat says Cleotha. I do remember the Cleotha breakdown. Terrible name as well. So she puts this out, right? And she's being racist. You know, just because you have cornrows and you have this inner city hood rat nickname like demoness, does not mean, or does it mean? Are you allowed to? I mean, if she's identifying as a black hood chick, is she allowed to call a black officer an Uncle Tom and not be racist?
What's the difference between the N word and Uncle Tom?
I don't know, because like hood rules change every day. Like, I don't know. We just watched Serena Williams, who did a crip walk across the stage to a rapper who's got beef during the Super Bowl. By the way, Serena Williams' sister was killed in a drive-by by Crip gang members. Right?
I'm out of the loop on that one.
Fact check me on that. Bring up an article. I don't want to say something that's not true, but Serena Williams' sister, I believe, was murdered by the Crips. And now Serena Williams, during the Super Bowl, is crip walking across the stage. I don't know. I don't understand hood culture and what our obsession is. I'll say this before I move on. We've done a really great job of shaming Nazis and shaming Ku Klux Klans people into hiding, in the backwoods of wherever in their trailers. And we don't really see them too often. But when's the last time a Nazi in the United States killed somebody or murdered somebody? When's the last time a KKK murdered somebody? And then when's the last time a gang member killed somebody? Why are we not shaming gangs the same way? Why do we glorify this ridiculous, gang beef bullshit on the Super Bowl? It's ridiculous. Go ahead, bring that back up with the Serena Williams thing. Let me read that article really fast.
Oh, I closed it already. Her sister was killed in Compton. So I'm going to go ahead and believe that what you were saying is fact checked and backed up.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I didn't know that. I had no idea about that. But
yeah, we've got this woman here calling this officer an Uncle Tom, and then posting this stuff all over social media. And I'm sure the social media world loved. I'm sure the comments were grandiose and amazing and ridiculous, as they usually are. And I love that. That's why I don't talk shit so much on the internet until I've done all my research before I start talking shit, because every time I think I know and I don't need to go back and look it up and I start talking shit, I end up putting my foot in my mouth and I feel like an idiot. So she says that the police officer roughed them up, threw her husband to the ground, I think is what she said in one of her reports, and harassed him over a parking violation, which created an entire social media uproar. And very quickly, Columbus, Ohio releases the body camera footage and some statements. We're going to look at it. Let me read you really fast the Columbus Dispatch. Let me read you from the Columbus Dispatch. It says a video of a man holding baby during forceful arrest sparks Columbus police statement. A video of Columbus police officer arresting a man holding a baby Friday drew outrage on social media, prompting Columbus police chief Elaine Bryant to post body camera footage of the incident on Saturday and issue a statement defending the officer. The video showed an officer pinning a man to the side of an SUV, partially trapping a baby between the man and the vehicle. The man, who is black, was arrested and charged with obstructing official business Friday after confronting an officer while the latter was trying to write a parking ticket, according to court records. In a probable cause affidavit, the officer said he was writing a ticket because an SUV parked on the curb in the 1400 block of East Whittier Street was blocking a bus stop. The man stepped into the street with the baby and refused to get out of the street, the officer wrote. So in the interest of transparency, they've gone ahead and released all of the footage that they have obtained. Now, this is of 6 days ago, right? I mean, this article was published 6 days ago.
And they released it so fast because not only did Demenius, whatever her name is, to have that awesome, amazing Facebook post, she decided in this whole interaction that it's the best time is to take a video. So we have a cell phone video from this that was attached to this if you want to see that first as well.
Yeah. So Armory Knight says Uncle Toms are normally a reference to a black person that is acting white, rejects black culture. Yeah, no, I totally get that. That's why a lot of black officers refuse to work in the inner cities because they don't want to be an Uncle Tom. I literally have had that conversation with other black officers, and they get called Uncle Tom a lot. I just didn't know, is it appropriate that a white woman calls a black cop an Uncle Tom? Does she get to do that? Does she have that privilege? I mean, I guess white privilege, she can do whatever she wants. I don't know. I don't know. Again, the lines are blurred. I don't know what's racist these days and what's not. Go ahead and play the footage.
All right, here we go.
Like, you see the hazards on. We're getting the kid out of the car.
Get in the car. Get in the car. Give me the baby. Get in the car.
Give me the baby and get in the car.
No, man. Like, but the attitude and everything like that, for that, you are going to get a punishment.
Go ahead and do it, man. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it.
Get out the street.
You ain't going to tell me to get out the street.
You get out the street right now.
Don't put your hands on me.
Get out of the street.
What? Let me run the street. Get your fucking hands off of me, dude. Get your hands off of me, fool.
Baby!
Get your hands off of me.
Hey,
Get your hands off of me.
dude, what are you doing?
Don't put your hands on me.
What are you doing?
Don't put your fucking hands on me.
Sounds like
Oh, no,
someone
I mean,
is cooperating.
this cell phone video looks a little bad, right? But now let's watch the other angle.
Problem!
What is your problem?
We need
Get
help!
your
We need
car.
help!
I need a supervisor.
Here!
I need your supervisor.
There is a baby.
I
There's
can't
a
grab
problem.
her!
I need your supervisor.
He grabbed her in the street and grabbed the baby!
I did nothing, sir.
I can't! He did nothing! He did nothing! He did nothing!
Back up! Back up! Back up! Back
He's
up.
telling me to get the baby, so which one is it?
Back up!
He did nothing! He did nothing!
Back up!
Can I have my baby? He didn't do anything! Ma'am, you weren't here. He did nothing. This guy started screaming. We live here. It's not. He says he's arresting him.
Stand over here, and I will not tell you again.
Hey, he can't breathe!
And this is
Are you
this is
doing
looking
this
pretty
again?
bad, right?
Like, what? What do you mean relax? My husband can't breathe! You threw him on the ground for nothing! I recorded the
For nothing. The car that's definitely not parked on
whole
the sidewalk.
thing! He said he assaulted him! He did nothing! Let go of him! Let go! Let go! God, this is so fucking crazy!
Looks pretty rough.
All
Looks
right,
pretty
so
rough.
this is I talk
But what
about being confused
what-
about hood culture. What? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, what can you see that I would say when people send me, because back in the day, people used to send me stuff like this all the time. Like, what can you react on this 2-minute video? And I always tell them, look, there's probably a lot before and a lot more after. But if you want my opinion on just this, I can give you my opinion on just this. You're probably not going to like it. So what can you see through this that, like, even with this, we're trying to get social media buzz. We're trying to get the community to rally behind this victim here. What can you see here that just screams problems right away?
Why is your car parked on the fucking sidewalk?
Let's start there.
But now, okay, so I brought this up on our Monday show when we did Uncuffed with Jay Durrell. And I say this every time I go to Food Line in the hood, which I go quite often because it's way cheaper than the Publix or the Lowe's. So it's easier for me to drive over to the shittier Food Kitty. It's cheaper over there, you know. But every time I go there, the one thing I've always noticed, and I've said this on the show a million times, why is it that hood culture, mostly black folks in hood culture, but anybody, because white people can be in hood culture as well, as we're seeing in this video, why is it that hood culture thinks that they should all park in the fire lanes? Why do you feel like you have the right or the need to park 3 or 4 cars every single time, no matter what time of the day you go, in the fire lane and leave your car to go run inside and buy groceries? You can't park in a parking space like everybody else. What gives you the right? What makes you think it's appropriate to just park willy-nilly? I see it all the time. Go to a gas station. You can't pull into a parking space. Why do you have to take up 4? Why do you have to park horizontal to the door and get out of your car so that the next guy has to park wherever. What is it in hood culture that you don't like parking like a normal fucking person? And here we have this asshole who drives up onto a sidewalk. That would piss me off to the next level, because what? So I don't get to walk on this side? Like, literally, they built this sidewalk so that I have a place to walk where I don't have to worry about getting hit by cars. Where I can send my child down the street on this bicycle. Hey, don't leave the sidewalk. Stay on the sidewalk. Don't go out in the street. It's icy. People are crazy. Don't go out in the street. But now my kid has to go in the street because you decided to park your fucking car on a sidewalk. And I apologize for swearing, but it aggravates me because I saw this as a police officer in hood culture, and it aggravated me to no end, where I said, you know what? Every time I go to Food Line in my cop car, I'm writing tickets. Because like maybe it'll spread like wildfire that if you park in the fire lane at Food Lion, you're going to get a ticket. Obviously, that gave me way more problems than it was worth, because as soon as you start writing a ticket, you get yelled at and cursed at, and people start videoing. It's just like not worth it. It's like, fuck it. Like, just let them park in the fire lane. But, it's one of those things. And I go back to the beginning of the show where I said, like, this is why it's important that you are in the right mood. Because what if this cop was in a really bad mood, like Sean Grayson and Sonia Massey case? This could have gotten a lot worse. He could have put a lot more pressure on that kid. Now, another thing that we see is holding kids hostage. This is a tactic that I don't know who started it or why it's appropriate in the hood. I've never seen it anywhere but the hood. It's in my book. This is an image drawn by John Bates. Difficult to look at pictures on Instagram. Also a producer and podcaster for our sports show. But I had the same circumstance. This is a story in my book, Pig Latin, which I encourage you all to get on the pre-order list. Thank you guys for doing that on Amazon right now. We're crushing. But in the book, this is one of the stories where this gentleman takes a child and holds this child hostage in front of me. It's absolutely bizarre. I can't think of a more scumbag thing to do. It would set me off. I can't think of a more dirtbag, cowardly piece of shit thing to do. This guy took the baby out of baby mama's hands just to retard the situation and literally put this child in an environment, in a situation. How are they not charging this guy with child abuse or neglect?
I would be. Every time that I've dealt with some similar situations in the past, I have charged. Because it's this psychological thing that when a suspect or someone in a situation like this, they're just trying to get out of the situation. They're trying to do anything that they can try to get out of. And they've seen in the past that this might work. I take this child and maybe the police officer will let me go because he thinks that if I get out of it, then the child's not going to get hurt. They're still going to arrest you. You're still going to have to face the consequences. First of all, let's go back to the beginning. You park a car on the road, you walk on the sidewalk. I will get in trouble for driving down the sidewalk, and you'll get in trouble for walking down the road. So don't park your cars on the sidewalk and don't walk in the road. It's a very simple, novel thing. We do this because people are freaking stupid and they don't understand how society works, and cars go fast. They're going to hit you. A car's going to hit you, run you over. You become a speed bump. And guess what? We're talking about you in a different light instead of something like this. So let's go back to the beginning. Just don't park your car. Let's just follow simple societal norms.
Well, so not only does he park his car on the sidewalk, but he also has a blacked out license plate, so you can't even read the license plate. Like, that's not reasonable either. You know what I mean? It's not just dusty and dirty. You see dusty and dirty tags all the time. That one's completely blacked out, almost as if it was done on purpose. So this guy just doesn't give a shit. Like everybody else, and I guarantee you there was a number of things wrong with that car, probably insurance related, registration. I bet you it wasn't just that. I mean, or else why would you cover up your tags, or maybe you said he's speeding around? But what you don't catch in the video, unless you watch it again, we can play it again if you want to. But when the cop doesn't tell him to get out of the street until a car, again, more hood culture shit. If a cop is talking to a guy in the car in a civilized neighborhood, a lot of times that car will put themselves in reverse and back it up, Terry, get out of there, Terry. You're not gonna. But no, in the hood, we have a cop arguing with a guy who's holding a baby, and a car zooms by without even tapping the brakes in a residential street. I mean, when I'm going down a residential street for any reason, if I see a child playing in the yard, I make it so apparent that I'm not trying to hit a child. And I love when people respect my house that way, because my kids fly out of the driveway on skateboards, dirt bikes, four-wheelers. We have it all. We do all those things. And it's a neighborhood. Show some respect. They're kids. But now you've got this car, and so the cop doesn't say get out of the road until this car, again, because that's what happens in the hood. They don't have they have zero disregard for life like the civil society has. It's bonkers. Hood culture needs to change. Ghetto culture needs to be shamed. We need to call ghetto culture out for what it is, which is trash. We have no problem calling out white trash rednecks and literally shaming them into being white trash rednecks and just kind of staying off the radar. But we celebrate through music, through the Super Bowl, through commercials, through TV shows. We celebrate hood culture like it's something fucking cool. And it's not. It's a bunch of degenerates who are uneducated, who are undisciplined and act like savages. And we celebrate that. And we like that kind of behavior. You know why? You know why you don't really see motorcycle gangs too often? Because motorcycle gangs know that they are not loved. They know that society does not like them. And unless they show up in mass numbers and puff in their chest, and they show up to a place like, I know this because I owned a bar, and the motorcycle club called me beforehand. A 1%er club, affiliates of the Hells Angels, called me and said, can we have a meetup at your location? And I said no. And they didn't even argue. They were like, fair, we get it. No, we got you. Because they understand that they are a blight, a pesky nematode on society. But how many times do you walk through, do you go to the gas station, you see somebody with their gang flag hanging out of their pocket? Or do you see somebody walking through Walmart with all their gang colors on, or driving through any type of city? I mean, you could go anywhere, go to a football game, go to a baseball game. You will see people repping their sets, repping their flags. They'll have their gang beads on. They're everywhere because they're accepted by society. Why are we accepting this behavior? Why isn't this mom? Why aren't there people protesting in front of this mom's house to get that child out of that household? If you are more concerned about your husband being arrested than you are getting your child into a house and into safety, in case, if cops were so bad and so menacing, don't you think cops shoot black people? That's the rumor on the street. Why would you take that chance and leave your kid out there if that's the rumor on the street that you buy into? I mean, my first thing would be like, get the kids get my kids away from this. To allow this guy being approached by the big mean cop to have a child and you gave it up to him, like, why wouldn't you be like, yo, why do you want my baby? Like, you're about to get in a conversation with the cops. Why do you need the baby? Like, these people are savage, disgusting animals, and they need to be called out for their disgusting and inhumane behavior. Putting that child in that position is inhumane. I don't know how else to put it.
You have two parents that can't parent. I'm just making the assumption that he's the father of the kid, but they can't parent. In this time of crisis, she did what they resort to: flip out your phone. And then the sergeant comes in to pull the kid away and pushes her away. And then she's like, oh, well, wait, you told me to take the kid. You want me to take the kid or not take the kid? Well, you're not making an active attempt to take the kid away. You're not making an active attempt to do anything to make the situation better. You're egging it on. You're trying to make it worse. We just did nothing. We just did nothing. We just did nothing next to our car that's obstructing the entire sidewalk. We just did nothing.
I love this.
We just did
I love this.
Nothing, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I love this comment from time. So there's a delay on my side because of the internet. So when you stop talking for just a second, I was like, oh, and then picks back up. But Tyler S says, when you're given everything, rich or poor, you tend to give less a fuck. Tyler knows what he's talking about because hood culture is given literally everything. Kids on Christmas in the hood receive more than my children receive on Christmas. And I'm middle class, easy, maybe upper middle class at this point. At least I feel upper. I probably live middle class, but because I live middle class, I think I probably fall into upper middle class. I don't know. I don't know what the price. I don't have a lot of toys though, right? Like I don't have a fancy car. I don't have a boat. I don't have motorcycles. I don't have anything nice. So my money goes a lot further than most people. So I'm able to take lots of trips and do lots of things because I don't have material things. Like our TV is from 2010. That's how old my TV is. My TV is 15 years old. We have one TV in the house. So anyway, but the people in the hood are given everything. They're given a place to live. They're able to, even when their credit's 300, they're still able to get financing for cars that they know that they can't afford. They're able to, they don't have to do laundry because they can just go down to the helping hand and get more and more. And rich people the same way. And I love that comment because again, it says when you're given everything, rich or poor, you tend to give less a fuck. You could not be more spot on, Tyler. And that's why I make my kids work for everything. I don't want my kids to just have. I want them to want it and to need it so that when they get it, it's special to them. Even though they're sponsored and they get 3 free skateboards a month, they get free skateboard anything, but they don't get to just go get a skateboard when they want. I make them roach those decks out, or if I see them leave a deck out, I'll say, hey, that new deck that you just got in the mail, you're not getting it for 2 weeks. Why? Why can't I have it now? Because, dude, your skateboard, which I told you to bring in, is still out in the driveway. And it rained last night. And now you're going to get to skateboard on a soggy skateboard. But, Dad, I have a contest this weekend. You should have thought about that. Because if you weren't given free skateboards, I would not have bought you a new skateboard because you left yours out in the water, in the rain. This is a real story, by the way. But it's important to teach people that. I love that comment. One of my favorite comments of the day. Let me see what Ard. I've never seen this guy in the chats before. Ard3214. I like your profile picture. It says, I believe the reason is accepted is because ghetto culture is commonly associated with minorities, and people don't want to be called racist, whatever that means anymore. Yeah, and I see a lot more in hood culture now. This is a white woman, so I don't know if we can be racist or not because it's a white woman, but it is a fair point. I think, I think it's more nefarious than that though. Ard. I think ghetto culture is, I think that ghetto culture is nurtured and fertilized by elected officials. And the reason why is because a lot of hood culture in a lot of cities is only a few blocks. Or if you look at it in square miles, you're only talking 3 or 4 square miles. So you're telling me not one mayor, not one governor, not police chief in 30, 50, 60 years could fix 3 square blocks of that? Or do they not want them to, or do they not want it to be fixed? And then when it gets so bad, they gentrify it and move all white people in and they buy the land for super cheap. I think there's a plan. I think there's a plan to keep the hood so that they can get land pennies on the dollar, or they know that land is always available for when they're ready to fix it all up and they're ready to work with it. Because they don't do. I haven't seen in a lot of cities and elected officials make any kind of common sense policy or common sense idea on how to fix inner city hood culture ever.
I'll go back even further, and to take the race out of it, just take it back to fatherless homes. When you don't have a platonic home, when you're raised not in a platonic home, there's values that are instilled in you as a child. There's a reason why I don't do things like Eric said. Like, I don't have tattoos because I was told if you want to do anything like cool, like special forces or anything like that, that could be a tattoo, could figure out how you are, that could get back to your family, something they could use against you. It could be something that could disqualify you from doing things that you want to do in the future. So I didn't get tattoos. I don't smoke because that can hurt your lungs, and your lungs are something you have to have. You got to stay active, and you got to be active, and you got to be in shape to be in this job. So I didn't smoke. So I didn't do a lot of things. And that's not just because I want to do this job. It's because I was instilled in me as a child that I don't want to disappoint my parents. I don't want to do something and go, well, I have to look my family in the face and let them know that I'm a drug addict, or I'm dealing with, I'm a drug dealer, or I'm dealing with all the other issues that you deal with in all these similar situations. And you can go back to whether it's the ghetto, you can go back to the trailer park, you can go back to wherever you want to go back to. It starts with the same thing. These non-fatherless homes, and there's less of this personal accountability. You're not being held accountable for your actions. There's no one telling you can't park in a fire lane. There's no one telling you can't park in a bus stop. And it seems like, yes, it's just a parking. But now we can park wherever we want. And when someone tells us we can't park there, the reaction is, hey, I can do whatever I want. So I can also continue to tell you I can do whatever I want. And I'm going to get my baby. I'm going to use my baby as a shield because that's what I want to do. And there's nothing that's going to hold me accountable for my actions. And then, oh, we can help get out of this. So I'm going to record you holding my baby as a shield because this is how we're going to get a paycheck. This is how we become a Sonia Massey case. This is how we wait till this officer escalates and then shoots. And they go, oh, look, no, you kind of created the problem in this one. But it goes back to, to get too far out. There's this personal accountability with this. There's none, absolutely none. Like you're saying,
yeah, and it's glorified through the TV and the music and everything else. That's what I'm saying. It's like maybe, somebody brought up, if you're never told, they don't have fathers. And so gang life is, but if schools preached, if schools shamed and degraded, if you went to skate parks and there were anti-gang symbols, just like there are anti-Nazi symbols, if you made it if you made it basically a blight to society to be a part of the gang, just like you are everything else, if you're part of the pest, and they would end up fleeing to the darkness. They're not going to go away, but they're going to be more like the Hells Angels, where they're going to, they're going to have to only move in packs because they can't move by them because they know society's not going to tolerate their bullshit. Like, the Hells Angels, there's a lot of places they can't go into that are going to allow them to wear their cuts. So why are we allow people in with gang colors and gang affiliated style things? I know I get it. The gang culture is shifty. They'll just, they'll say, oh, well, this is a sports related, but and we should be allowed to say, like, no, unfortunately, I get it. It's an Oakland Raiders, but the Raiders aren't playing today, and it's 89 degrees outside, and it's not very cold in here. So no, you cannot wear your Oakland Raiders jacket in here today. And you're just going to have to be a little bit more low key about it. And I think that's where we need to go. Lázaro Lopez says he finally got his wizard raccoon tattoo. This is a guy who was reviewing my book. I'm not sure why I let him do that. But he also has a young Hillary Clinton tattooed on his upper thigh. He's got a tattoo of a young prepubescent Hillary Clinton tattooed on his thigh. He lost some kind of a bet. I'm not sure why he did it. But so I, when he says he just got his wizard raccoon, I mean, I don't know. Are we happy? Are we proud of him? Or do we try not to glorify the things that Lázaro Lopez do because they're obviously destructive? I'm just kidding. We all love you, Lázaro Lopez, and I think you're one of the classiest people I've ever met in real life. You just put on a really great act, and I love it. Hard3214 says, that's what made broken window policing so effective. When we saw things getting out of hand, zero tolerance. Too many cops now are scared to handle business anymore, which leads to things escalating. 100%. There's another great point. I see more broken windows and more graffiti in the city of Raleigh than I ever did when I was a cop, because I was a cop pre-George Floyd. I left policing months before George Floyd. And that's when, now they have restaurants that are dedicated to graffiti. There's a restaurant in downtown Raleigh that allows you to just do graffiti on their wall. That's part of their decoration. It's fucking heinous and it's ugly and it's disgusting. Again, why do we glorify? If I own a building and I pay rent on that building and I pay mortgage and I pay the upkeep and I pay that $100 a month pressure washing service and I pay that $150 window washing service, why should I have to be victim to some fucking asshole who thinks he's an artist and he gets to scribble some bullshit cursive on my wall that nobody can even read? And like, why does he get to do his art on my wall that I pay for? I don't make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's trash. It's garbage. But yet we glorify, oh, it's art. It's beautiful. No, it's dog shit. That's what it is. It's dog shit. And you should go buy your own fucking wall and go graffiti your own fucking wall. But I see a lot more of it now. And again, yeah, maybe it goes back to, well, it's the minorities and we don't want to show their culture. But you know what? I don't even see a lot of black people doing graffiti anymore. That's mostly like fucking white people, rich middle-class white kids that are fucking so bored that, they go out and because they're the ones that can afford to spray paint cans anyway. Hood people don't do that much graffiti or that beautiful graffiti art because they can't afford the fucking graffiti to begin with. Yeah. I'm generalizing.
But you want to
by the way.
Want to wrap this up with some dash cam, body cam?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll play the dash cam so you can get the whole totality of this. And then guess what? I'm taking my kids. I'm now on our last day of vacation. I'm taking them to District 12 for the Hunger Games. They don't know yet. That's where we're headed.
So here's the car. parked completely on the side. There's only 2 tires are barely
Yeah.
in the road in a bus
I'm just
stop.
frustrated right now. Like, I'm already mad. I'm already in a bad mood. Look at every other car on the street. So here's that really fast car. Like,
He walks
Like, I was
back
like,
out
dude, just-
further into the street
dude, like
with
yeah,
a kid. There's no sound here, and it'll come in just a second.
Yeah. He's pushing the guy out of the street. The guy's pushing back, yelling, getting in the cop's face. The cop's just pushing him away, which is great, right? You always want to keep that distance. You don't want to get swung on.
Yeah, you guys got to move that.
So here he is. The cop's across the street. His body camera starts. He's across the street in the other bus stop on the other side of the street when this interaction.
Yeah, the car. You got to move that. You got to move the car. All right, give me a moment. Absolutely.
So the cop's giving him an opportunity to move the car. The guy talks shit. Now the cop's like, oh, okay, hold up. Now you're going to get a ticket. Hold up.
I'll
Wait a
in a
minute.
second, my man.
Oh, I love that. Okay. You want to play games? Games
Yes,
shall be.
it's 31A. She's there. Talk to parents. Can you put me out at 1400 on the Parker?
On a Parker.
All right. So first of all,
I'll give you the plate, but I
I
can't
was
read
just
it.
letting you know, man. Like, but the attitude and everything.
So what I want to point out here too, now we got quite a bit of time that these people have interacted before the cell phone ever comes out. So this, oh, he's an Uncle Tom. Oh, he's just out to get us. Hey man, move your car. Hey man, move your car. All right, well, if you don't want to move your car, I'll give you a ticket. That's fine. Where's the cop the problem here? Where's the cop the problem in them parking the car on the sidewalk in front of a bus stop?
For that, you are going to get a Parker.
Go ahead and do it, man.
I will.
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it.
Get out the street.
You ain't
Oh, so
gonna
he
tell
has
me
a
to get
cover
out the street.
over the license plate. It's not even
Don't
hurt.
put your hands on me. Get out of the street. Get out of the street. Get your fucking hands off of me.
And you see how fast that car went by in this video. Like, it's a lot different from the.
Get your hands off of me. What are you doing? Don't put your hands on me. Don't put your fucking hands off of me.
I'm going to put you down. Hold
Put your hands off of me. Get your hands off of me.
Now, point out too where the
Doing
female
that in
is.
front of a child.
Several opportunities for her to go, hey, just give me the kid. She did the
Yeah.
opposite. Here's the
She
kid.
didn't care. She
instead of
doesn't care about that kid. She doesn't care about that kid, Josh. She doesn't care about that kid, and he doesn't care about that kid. That kid's fucked.
Hold the
by
kid
the way.
or I'm going to put him down.
Get your hands off of me.
You're under arrest.
What?
For what?
What is he
I'm
doing?
recording you.
You're pushing up against me.
I'm recording you. That live here. This is my house.
We were just getting the baby
Record him.
out of the
Daddy.
water.
Hold the kid. I'm going to put the kid.
Record
I'm going to put him
him.
down.
Please.
Dude, I'm going to
Okay.
put you down.
I'm not for my child.
Why is he under arrest?
Let me go.
Why is he under
I'm
arrest?
not white. For what?
I asked you
Why?
for
what?
You're pushing up.
What's the reason?
Hold your child.
For what? For what? And the cop is literally telling him the exact reason, and the guy's saying, "For what? For what?"
Yeah, but if I
Why
keep
is he
saying
doing
for
that?
what and I interrupt you, then I never get to hear the reason, and so there is no reason. For
Oh,
what?
there's no or
For what?
lets me try to
For what?
to
For
buy,
what? For what?
Buy time.
For what?
Buy
For
time.
what?
Buy time. Oh, here's the kid.
What's the reason?
What is
What
he
did I do?
You have to.
What did I do? For what?
You have to say
For what?
that.
You
He's
push
being
up against me.
arrested.
I did not do that. You pushed me.
I'm recording
Take your hands behind
this.
your back.
Give me
Hold
the
your
baby.
child. Hold your child.
Give me the
Hold your
baby.
child.
Let me have the baby.
Dude, do not.
Babe, let me have
Hold the
it.
child. Hold the child.
I'm
Hold
waiting
the
to know
child.
why he's arrested.
Dude,
I recorded it.
absolutely. Hold the child.
This is the
Hold the
this is the
child.
hold
Let
your
go of the
child
child right now,
count
dude.
8.
Let go of the child right now. Let go of the child.
I need your badge.
Let go of the child.
I'm not letting go of the child.
Can you just
Let go
I
of
need
the
your
child.
badge number.
Get your child. I'm gonna get your child in danger. I'm gonna get your child in danger.
She doesn't even know who that child's dad is.
Let go of
Guarantee
your
you.
child. Let go of your child.
I'm close to 20 times that he said, "Let go of the child."
Babe, let me
Let go of the child.
please. I'm recording. And I
Do not want to hurt you. Let go of the
please let me
child. You said kill you? Let go of the child. Get your child.
I
Get your
tried.
child.
Now he's saying, "Kill me." I'm holding the kid, and he's saying, "Kill me."
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to comment or like point out some greatness here. Listen to how calm the officer is the entire time. No stress, doesn't raise his voice, none of this
That's
out
why
of breath
I'm saying
breathing.
it's important. That's why it's important to be in the right headspace, because this could have gotten really bad. If you would have had a Sean Grayson show up, imagine if Sean Grayson, the man who killed Sonia Massey, was the cop that showed up to this. Like, this would be, we would have streets burning, the whole 9 yards. You make the situation worse. This cop is doing a fantastic job. He's doing the de-escalation. He's thinking clearly. He's doing the right thing, and he's not tolerating the bullshit, which I love. I love that he's not tolerating the bullshit. I love that he says, "Hey, guy, you can't park on the sidewalk." And the guy chops off, and he's just being nice. He's like, "Yo, you can't park there. You can't park there." And this guy gets attitude. And he's like, "Oh, hold on. You want to play games? Games there shall be." Now we pull up on him. You got the license plate cover. Now you're out in the road. Now you got a kid. Now you're going to get to go to jail. I love it. Great job. Fun case. I hope that if we can learn anything today, it's these two things. One, be in the right head space before you go on shift so that you're not a Sean Grayson. You're more like this guy. Uncle Tom, I think his name is. Oh, I kid. This is a great cop. And I wish they had put out his name because I think he did a wonderful job. Be this guy and this guy. If you made it this far in the podcast, leave me a 5-star rating and review. 99% of this show comes from audio numbers and not YouTube numbers. So although we appreciate you following us and subscribing on YouTube, if you would head over to Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, wherever you download podcasts, hit the download button and just leave a 5-star rating and review and give us some listening time on audio. We really appreciate it. And then Pig Latin, a seriously funny true story. I am catching up to some pretty big names as far as pre-sale is. Again, Simon Schuster is one of the biggest law enforcement book deals from Simon Schuster in its genre. And so I just don't want to come up short on this. This is a game-changing book here. And so I want you guys to go ahead and get it on the pre-sale. It means a lot to me. Be a part of the Wolfpack, be a part of the family, support those who support us. Lots of big news coming down the pipeline that you're not going to want to miss. Follow us over on FAWKES Fox News on YouTube, which is all of our political news 3-4 days a week. We also do sports on there. Fantastic news. Some of the best news out there, independent news, anti-legacy media news. If you're getting your news from, you should be getting news from somewhere. Get it from a trusted source. That's why you can trust us over at FAWKES News. But as far as Failure to Stop goes, we are partnering with Foss Studios. I was with Mike the Cop all weekend long. I'm shooting a lot of content, so a lot of stuff's dropping. A lot of big news is coming down the pipeline. You're not going to want to miss it. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And now I'm going to take my kids to literally, I'm so stoked about this. I'm taking them to District 12. I'm taking them to District 12 from the Hunger Games because it's really close to where we're at. So I've got a private tour booked and everything. They have no idea. They're going to shit their pants because they love that movie. So I got to get out of here. But I love all you guys. Until next time, guys, guns up. Giddy up.
See ya.